This podcast is for SEO professionals, and each week, with the help of our wonderful guests, we discuss the important stuff that actually affects our careers and progression, but sadly often doesn't get talked about. You know, the invaluable soft and interpersonal skills that are often taken for granted, such as the skills we need for listening, time management, communication, and more. We also talk about the big issues that affect us and our careers, such as burnout, imposter syndrome, self-belief, saying no, plus other big issues and obstacles. With this podcast, we want to share knowledge on topics that unlock our listeners' true potential and enhance not only their careers, but all parts of their lives. So, are you ready to prioritize your own personal growth and career development? Then let's crack on with this week's episode.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the SEO Mindset podcast, where your hosts are myself, Tazmin Suleman, and my dear friend, Sarah McDowell. We record and put out episodes every single Thursday, and this week I spoke to Ebere Jonathan all about Search Africon and what went into taking it from an idea, or as she calls it, a dream, to the success it absolutely was. So Ebere, when she's not organising conferences, she's a freelance tech SEO consultant. And in this episode, we focus all on the idea of where the conference came about, why it was so important to turn that dream into reality, and all of the wins and the learnings that she experienced. Before we get into the episode, a reminder of how you can support Sarah and myself. So in the show notes, there is a link that will take you to a Buy Me a Coffee page if you would like to send Sarah and myself a one-off donation. And the other way that we would really appreciate your support is if you could share far and wide about the podcast. So as you know, we don't just, we talk about how to thrive in the SEO world, but we don't talk about SEO in particular, the technicalities of it. So these episodes can be really useful for anybody who wants to progress in their career and look after their well-being. So whether it is your next door neighbor, whether it is some family members and friends, share far and wide, and Sarah and I will be eternally grateful. So now let's talk to Ebere. So, Ebere, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast, and a huge welcome. I feel like I'm welcoming a celebrity.
Thank you so much, Tasmin. I've been looking forward to joining this podcast someday. And I'm so excited to finally be invited.
Oh, wow. I want to start off by saying first, huge congratulations on Search Africon, because people are raving about it.
Thank you so much.
And I believe number 2, you're planning the second one as well now.
Yes. The second one is happening on 2nd and 3rd May 2025. So this time we want to do like a virtual conference on 2nd and then a live conference on 3rd to help us cover more topics. So this is going to be big.
Yeah, it's going to be bigger than the first one.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant, brilliant. And it's really about Search Africon that I thought it would be a really great podcast to talk about that, because you started Search Africon from tell me the story. How did you come up with it? Tell me right from the beginning.
Yes. So South African did not come like a grand idea. It didn't just appear like all of the dream idea you've been hearing. So it started I think in 2022. Yeah, 2022, about February. So I was having a group call with some of my friends from the FCDC, and we had like discussing how businesses over here in Nigeria and in Africa doesn't value SEO, they don't know about SEO, and it's kind of difficult to even convince them about SEO. And we were like, okay, so how do we change these things? And we thought about doing a conference and awareness sort of, and that was supposed to be something we hope to do in the future. Then at about the same year, 2022, I was job hunting seriously, and it's frustrating trying to look for a job from a developing country. So during one of another call in another community that I belong to, the DMU, I shared my frustration trying to find a job, and someone suggested, why don't you look for businesses within your locality and try to apply for an SEO job? And I was like, this makes sense. But businesses in Nigeria, they do not know the value of SEO. They don't even understand what SEO is enough to want to like give you their money to do SEO for them. And that was like a wake up call. I felt like we shouldn't push this to the future. Now could actually be the future to start educating these businesses, to start making them aware of what SEO is about and how they can benefit from it. So that was when I started thinking of, okay, maybe I can do the conference now. And something else, most of us here, we really love all of the pictures we see in Brighton SEO and all of the big SEOs. I wish to be there, but we can't. Not because some of them don't have enough fund to fund their transportation and accommodation, but sometimes you get visa rejections. Most times you get visa rejections. And so I feel like this could also be another opportunity for us to meet together as SEOs in Africa and digital marketers in Africa while educating these businesses on the value of SEO. So that was how the idea started in 2022. And no, no, in 2023. And in 2024, we had our first conference, which is this year.
That's brilliant. So, some beautiful things that you said there that there's a problem and you found a solution. You created the solution rather than just accept that that's the way it was. And you said something like, I didn't write it down, but, the future can be now. Brilliant, brilliant sentiment there.
Yeah, you don't have to like push things to the future. The future can actually start now.
Wonderful. So, all right. So there's a problem. You want to educate local businesses on SEO. You want to be able to have a conference within the country so that you don't have to worry about visas, all of that. So now you know what you want to do. How do you take it from this is what I want to do to actually doing it?
That is that's actually where the problem is, from the ideation to the implementation. So I was scared at first. Okay, let me start from the beginning. I felt like what we can do is maybe a few of us, like 10 to 20, we can just come together and have like a meetup, and then eventually we keep adding more people. That makes sense, and that is less scary. So I discussed with a few of us, and they're like, no, you don't have to do 10 of us. We are a lot. Like, invite more people. I'm like, inviting more people is going to require more work and more funding. Let's just keep it cool. And when I made the post on Twitter and on LinkedIn, people were like crazy. They like, oh, we want to attend, we want to attend. And I saw the interest and I got really, really scared. I did not plan for this. I just had in mind that this is what I want to do. And then I felt I would do it gradually, not a full jumping into conference straight up, but just little meet up. And then someday we'll eventually do a big conference. So when I saw the interest, I saw that there is need for this. I I reached out to some people that I know that are doing what I would love to do. Like I reached Joe Turnbull, I reached out to them and they gave me some ideas and tips and advice and encouragement. So I went back to my spreadsheet, wrote down everything that needs to be done, how it will be done, and what is needed to get it done. Most times we are scared, we procrastinate because we don't have a concrete plan on how to execute what we want. So it makes us scared, it makes us procrastinate. But when we put a concrete plan about our idea and how to execute it, it's a lot easier to manage.
And this is the thing that people seem to think procrastination is being lazy. It's not being lazy. Sometimes you're just not clear on what the steps are. And by the sounds of it, the community really came and helped you gain that clarity.
Yeah, yeah. The support from the SEO community, I keep talking about it. I keep talking about it because all through the events, it's not just on encouragement, but also sponsorship. The community really supported, especially the WTS community.
And that was so there's so many components from, I mean, I've never organized a conference, so for me it just feels like there must have been so much to do, the venue and the speakers and the sponsorship and what were the things that took you by surprise, because those are the things that come top of my head.
Yeah, like all of them. What took me by surprise is the fact that people really wanted to attend this event. Then what scared me was how to go about getting sponsors, and then how to go about getting people to buy tickets. Those one, it was really scary. But I was surprised that sponsors started reaching out to me like, how do we make this happen? How do we support this? And I will meet some people like, yeah, you want to do Search Africon? Don't worry, I'm going to sponsor. I would like to support it. That was really amazing. And it was surprising when I got to the venue and I saw the number of people that actually came. That was surprising. But the whole planning of the event, trying to get a venue and all of those things, it was daunting considering that is something I've never done before. I had no idea how to do it. As a matter of fact, I'm an introvert. I and I also have social anxiety. I don't go for events. I shy away from going to any event. So when people ask me like, why do you prefer to go to conferences that are small? It's because I really have a serious social anxiety. And when I go to large events, I just sit at one corner or something. So imagine someone like me trying to organize an event. It's chaotic. But I'm excited that it happened at the end.
So, what made you then actually go for it? So I know you spoke at the beginning about there was a need, and even the job market, it would have helped the job market. But as you describing you the way you are, that's a big effort on your part.
Should I say I don't know? I don't know. I don't know what made me go for it because sometimes I feel like, oh, who asked me to do this? Why am I doing this? But it's just the passion. When I started receiving, like, some people send me DMs like, oh, thank you very much for doing this. We've always longed to have something like this in Africa. Thank you very much. So all of those things push me to, you know, leave myself, don't focus on myself, but focus on the people. Just seeing how happy and excited people are to have that makes me focus less on myself and more on what is going to bring.
It's amazing. And how long did it take from the point where you decided to do it to actually having the conference?
I think from September 2023 to May, about 7 months
Yeah,
or 8 months.
yeah. That Have you got any funny stories? And I know after the break we're going to be talking more about, the wins and the learnings. But do you have any funny stories that you could tell us?
Um, it's not funny, but it's kind of encouraging.
Yeah.
So during the event, while the talk was going on, the venue hall is directly opposite a gym. So I kept closing the door because I don't want us to disturb the gym. Because I noticed the gym door is slightly open. So I was ensuring that our venue door is closed so we don't disturb the people there. So when I went to close the door, I noticed an instructor, the gym instructor, called me and said, please don't close the door. I was like, why? He said, so I actually left the gym door open on purpose because I was listening to what you guys were saying, and it's interesting to know that there is how I can, showcase my gym, whatever, online, and people are going to find me and call me. I say, yeah, it's possible. I say, wow, please leave the door open. So
Oh,
that was
wow.
really, really encouraging, and I didn't forget that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Because you don't know who you're going to impact, taking a step, creating what you created. And you have no idea who's going to listen, what they're going to gain, how they're going to then take that learning forward.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
exactly.
Well, we're going to take a short break. And then when we come back, it'd be really great to understand from you, more about what you learnt from it and what you can share with our listeners in terms of that learning. So, Barry, welcome back to part two of this really interesting podcast. And in the break, Barry has been giving me some feedback on the podcast and telling me how much she is enjoying recording with us. And I hope everyone listening is also enjoying it. So, Barry, in part one, we talked about how you came up with the concept of the conference and actually made it happen. And we've talked about, the wins that you weren't even expecting, like the gym owner. What were the biggest wins, both personally and professionally for you?
The biggest win was seeing people in that hall taking notes, being happy, and then coming on LinkedIn and seeing people raving about it. That was it. Like, yes, we did it. That was the biggest win. Seeing it happen. It was just an idea, it was just a dream. But seeing it finally happen was a big win for me. It was really encouraging. Like, yeah, you can do this. And professionally, it boosted my confidence to go for anything I want to. I wasn't shy or scared because if I can do this, I'm sure I can do keyword research. I can do all of those things too.
And I guess even for the speakers, there would have been were there speakers there that had never spoken at conferences before?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think um I think almost, not all, but almost all the speakers have never spoken in a conference before. Because it's our first one, we didn't do pitch. I actually went to them and convinced them to speak because I know they know their onions, but they've not just spoken before. And they were scared and, anxious, but they all delivered.
And for them as well, having the opportunity to share their knowledge, having that opportunity to take that first step, and not having to fly. Were they all from the local area? Did anybody have to fly in? Because I think sometimes that can make it
Yeah,
worse.
I know flew
Yeah,
in. Yeah. Um, well, I don't know if that makes it worse or not because I've not done that before. I've not flown into somewhere else to
yeah,
speak. But I know flew in to speak, but she's a badass
mm,
speaker. She's spoken at so many conferences
yeah,
before.
yeah. I think maybe I'm just projecting my own because I like being at home. Going to Brighton is enough for me. Brighton and London, but I
Yeah.
think, but when you were talking about the opportunity of having something nearby where you didn't have to get a visa for, that's something that, I mean, thinking back to my early days, I think I would have been happy to have something local rather than having to go somewhere else. So you had the big wins for yourself, big wins for the SEO community, big wins for the speakers. Was there anything that, and these are all things that you would imagine would happen? Big wins for the gym owner next door. What else springs to mind?
Those are the wins. Those
Yeah,
are the wins. The sponsors, yeah, big wins getting the sponsors because I was freaking out.
yeah.
Big wins on the tickets, like I was also freaking out. So
But from what
seeing
I
the
can,
attendees excited.
yeah, yeah. And on social media, we mainly on on the WTS channel and all the community, and also on LinkedIn, so many people saying so many great things about how wonderful it was.
Yeah, that was a big win.
What would you say that you learnt from the experience?
Um, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and that makes me procrastinate because I think I want it to be perfect. So I spend more time thinking and thinking and thinking. Before you know it, I get overwhelmed by fear. Are you sure I could do this? Would I do this? And then I don't do it. But what I've learned from this, which is something you've also mentioned to me in the past, is that it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough. And that is something I learned from organizing the first Search Africon event.
Mm.
On my head, it's not perfect. But seeing people talking about it, they're like, it's so perfect. So as far as it's good enough, give it a shot. Don't kill yourself trying to make it perfect that you get overwhelmed by fear, anxiety, and you don't even get to do it at all.
And you don't, even if you do it, you don't get to enjoy it, and you should enjoy it.
Exactly.
Because with so many moving parts, if you're trying to make everything perfect, you'd not A, you'd not do it, and B, it would be so exhausting that you wouldn't then enjoy the event anyway.
Exactly. One of the things that happened that I did not, no matter how well, maybe someone more perfect than me will have thought about it, but it did not occur to me. I was making sure I dot all the lines, but I didn't know it was going to rain heavily in night to the event, and I also didn't know that the road to the venue could get swampy when it rains, like it doesn't drain out completely. And that was what happened. So on getting to the venue, I wanted to freak out. I wanted to like melt away or disappear, you know. But I remember that it doesn't have to be so perfect. It just have to be good enough. And when I mentioned it to people that attended the event, like, oh, I felt so bad that you had to deal with it. They're like, oh no, I didn't even notice that. Oh, I didn't even think
Really?
about the road.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was just freaking out on my own, and then people are just busy enjoying the event.
So this is something that you couldn't have foreseen. You couldn't have done anything about the rain. Um, for you, it was a big deal, and other people, they didn't even notice.
That's life. So focus on just getting what should be done, and don't drown yourself in fears and anxieties and doubts, especially on things you don't have control over or you may not have control over.
And that's where a lot of us spend a lot of our time, isn't it? We try and control things that we actually can't control. Were there any other
Exactly.
big learnings or even small learnings from you from the conference?
Ah, apart from not being so perfect, and another learning is if you have an idea, go for it. Really go for it. Small, big, don't get scared. Just go for it. You'll be amazed at how far you can go. Don't doubt yourself. Don't think, no, this isn't for me. I should leave it for someone that you consider better, or I should push it to the future. No, give it a shot.
There will be people listening to this who do have an idea, and there've been nuggets of wisdom throughout this episode. But supposing somebody is listening and they want to do something, what are a few first steps that they can take? So I know that you got a group of people together. Is that something that you would? Did that give you that encouragement that you needed to take the next steps?
Yeah, first of all, they need to like understand that dreams are meant to scare you. That's why they are dreams. They are challenges. So don't freak out. Even if you do, just tell yourself it's normal, and then you should seek support, as you mentioned. Having people who have done what you want to do beside you, telling you, okay, this is okay, this is okay. It's really helpful. It's really helpful. Then, even if they have not done what you've done, but maybe your friends or colleagues who believes in your dreams, in what you want to do, to having them as your support system is very helpful.
Were there any times where you thought, why did I agree to do this? I should not have done this.
Yes, yes, countless times.
Really?
I think I am still thinking about it sometimes, even now.
What would you
Yeah,
do?
definitely, countless times.
What would you do if that
Sorry, I
feeling,
didn't get that.
if when that feeling came across that you thought, why am I doing this? What would you do to help yourself?
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Breathe. Ah, what's R? I think you should remind me. The
Oh, so you
brave.
did the brave thing, the reframing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But basically, it happens. It's just your brain like getting scared because you're going out of your comfort zone to something you have not done before, and it's trying to keep you
Yeah.
safe. So I understood that part, and I like, okay, this will pass. Then something I always do is to write it down. Write whatever is scaring me at the moment. Say, for instance, I'm freaking out. I'm asking myself, why am I doing this? Because I am not getting sponsors at the time and I need to pay for things. I write things down. What are my plans? Who should I reach out to? So, writing things down, concrete plans, helps me relax.
So it's just getting that out of your head and putting it down on some piece of paper. Yeah, reframing, because it's just changing your perspective. Is there anything that you would do to keep yourself motivated? Because this is a question I get asked a lot. How, if you're doing something that's going to take a long time, how do you keep that motivation?
That's the question I ask people too.
Yeah.
Most times I feel demotivated. But if you have like a compilation, say for instance the feedbacks from people that attended,
Mhm.
you can flip through the feedbacks and see all the amazing reviews and feedback you got from people. Are you sure you just want to throw that away because of lack of motivation? Then your why. Why are you doing it in the first place? Why did you start at all? So all of those things are what will keep you motivated in the long run, because it's not easy. It's very easy to get demotivated at first. Like when we made the first post about Search Africon, yes, it got a lot of comments, a lot of excitement, but then when you make the next post, you won't get that. So after a while, you'll be running mostly with your own motivation. You won't get that, yes, go for it, that you got the first time. So most times it's demotivating, but you have to know why you started out on the idea at first, and then the feedbacks you got from people that enjoyed it or that really want to see that happen will keep you motivated.
So having that vision of what you're trying to create and keeping that in your mind.
It's okay to also like feel demotivated for some time and just close the laptop and sleep and relax. and refresh yourself. You get back into it again.
Sometimes when you're exhausted, you're not going to feel like doing those things. And sometimes, yeah, rest and recharge is very important. We advocate for rest and recharge.
Exactly.
Oh. So what would you like our listeners to take away from all that you've told us today?
What would you like to take? Like, go for it. Take up the challenge, whatever it is that you have in mind to do. But you are scared of it. Dare to take it up and look for a community of support, because most times we can't really run alone. I remember a saying, you can run alone, but if you want to run longer, you need people. So get community of supporters, but take it up. Dare to take up the challenge.
Brilliant advice. So that's great advice coming from you to our listeners.
Hello, everyone. Now, this is a special content feature where I am joined by the ever so fabulous Crystal Narco from Clear Connect Network. Now, for those eager-eared, very aware that we've had you on previously to talk about this, but just a quick recap about the network and who it's for, please, Crystal.
Yeah, sure. So the Clear Connect network is a dedicated platform for Black freelancers and creatives across the UK. So that includes anyone who is a freelancer and a creative or contractor based in England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. And that's because we want to be able to create a space that people feel supported, people are educated about certain things, people can find opportunities amongst each other. And then also have a place where we can collect data so that we are better informed as a community and be able to thrive by combining everything together and connecting. Yeah.
Wonderfully said. Now, you recently had a launch party for this network. So, congratulations. Tell us quickly about that.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, it was such a fantastic day. We had speakers from different sectors and places and a panelist, both either creative or freelance, speaking about the likes of mental health, how to price yourself, making sure that you're set up legally, and how to actually set up, and then finally talking about the struggles, challenges, and then any tips and advice on the creative and freelance journey. So it was really, really good. A lovely day filled with loads of experts, loads of people, and loads of food. Yeah.
Not meaning to put you on the spot, but are there more planned for the future, or can you not say?
Oh no, definitely can. There is a lot more planned for the future. As we kind of gave a little giveaway yesterday, our next event is called Take the Free Out of Freelance, because working shouldn't be free. So we've got that coming up, but expect more, from workshops to workspaces, meetups to even hackathons. So
I imagine some of our listeners are thinking, why? Well, obviously it sounds fabulous and they'd want to join, but what are some specific focuses or some sort of challenges or topics, that kind of thing, that your network tries or successfully tackles?
yeah. So as both me and you, Sarah, knows, being a freelancer can sometimes be very lonely. There's no direct handbook as to how to excel, how to succeed as a freelancer. And along my journey, I realized this, and I wanted to kind of build a guide as to how to kind of succeed in your freelance journey. So if you're looking for support with mental health, for example, or you're looking on some coaching on how to actually price effectively so that you don't have to live from invoice to invoice, or that you can build a system that allows you to thrive financially, it's also a good way to join. But moreover, like it's a great space to be around freelancers and creatives who share similar journeys, who've been through similar things, and can actually help you, because sometimes when you're trying to do something, and it can be tough and difficult, you need people who actually understand the journey and understand the experience. So that's why we've created the Clear Connect network. And then more so, we don't have any data around it. We know that there's about 4 to 5 million freelancers in the UK, but we don't know specific things that actually affect them. And then out of those 4 to 5 million, how we don't know how many people are black, how many people either are both freelancers or creatives, and we don't know specific things that they have to deal with. So we wanted to be able to tackle some of those issues and problems. Yeah.
Sounds absolutely fabulous. And Crystal, thank you for creating this. And like, this sounds like a very valuable, beneficial, and needed community. And yeah, just want to say congrats again. Pat
Thank
yourself
you.
on the back.
Thank you.
Now, how do people join? How do people get involved in this network?
Yes, so we have a sign up form. You can either find that on our website at CN Media, and that's CNMEDIAA.com. And that at the bottom of the page, that will take you to where you can sign up. Or you could go to our socials, either on Instagram or LinkedIn, and that's Clear Narrative Media. And there should be a form there as well that you can kind of click and sign up. And once you are signed up, you will receive an email to join the community. So you can join the community. But once we've finalized and building the platform, you should also have access to join in the platform online. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. Crystal, we are at time, but thank you very much for joining me and talking about the fabulous Clear Connect network. I will make sure that there are links in the show notes. So listeners, I am directing you there. Go and head over to the show notes and go and check out this fabulous community, because yeah, why would you not? And yeah, thank you, Crystal.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. It's always a pleasure to be on the podcast.
I'm going to ask you a few questions now that we ask all of our guests. First question is, what was the best career advice that you'd ever received?
What was the best career advice that I received? I remember an advice I got from Brenda Mallon when I think I just joined SEO newly, and she was my mentor, and I was having serious imposter talking on sharing my ideas, and she was like, just do it, but do it little by little. So that was really helpful. So for someone who feels imposter or someone who is new into SEO, that when you come on LinkedIn, you feel like, oh, there are a lot of experts already sharing their ideas and you don't have anything to say. My advice to transferring the advice I got to you, do it little by little. Find people that need what you want to offer and give it to them. Like in communities, you see people asking questions, and these are things you know, these are things you've worked on. Then share your ideas, by no means give them answers. This will boost your confidence, and before you know it, the imposter drops.
So taking lots of little steps, but just keep going. Yeah. Because sometimes, some people like doing those big steps, just jumping in the deep end, like organizing a conference, for example. Look at where you've come from those little steps, taking those big steps now. But yeah, that's really good advice. If somebody is scared, chunk it into teeny tiny bits and be consistent. Just keep taking them. Brilliant, brilliant. Brenda's wonderful.
Yeah, she is. She is.
So then the next question, and it might be Brenda, it might be somebody else. Who is somebody that really inspires you that you think we should be following?
Yagmo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Yagmo is really inspiring. When I first joined the community, I loved like English is not even her first language, but you see her like putting out lots of information, going to conferences, speaking at conferences, and now she's even organizing a big event too. So she's really inspiring, daring, and
Yeah.
motivating. She really motivates me a lot, and I'm very happy and proud to
Yeah.
know her. So please, you guys should follow her.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
She is such a genuine person as well. You know, when you reach out to her, she's very generous with with her time, with her expertise. Yeah, wonderful. So that
Yeah.
brings us to the end of our podcast. I feel like we could chat for ages, but I do want to ask you one additional question. If there's anyone listening today and they would like to be part of the next Search Africon way and they'd like to help you with the sponsorship, where can they get in touch with you?
On searchafricon.com, on our homepage, you can see the Be a Sponsor button. And then we also have, yeah, we can see the Be a Sponsor button on the navigation. And also, when you scroll down, you can see sponsor or donate to
Wonderful.
Search
I
Africon.
will put a link in the show notes as well. And I wish you so much good luck with it. Not that you need it. You're a pro now, Iberi.
Thank you very much, but I need it still.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for coming onto the podcast and sharing all of your knowledge. And I just want to end by saying thank you to the listeners for always, um, we feel so grateful that we have people who are enjoying the podcast and they reach out to us and it's giving them value. So it's a lovely, lovely place to be. And a reminder that if anyone is listening and is enjoying what Sarah and I are doing, if you'd like to support us, there are so many different ways you can do it. One is through donations. So there is a Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes. And another one is share this podcast far and wide. Because although it is titled SEO Mindset Podcast, there's so much information for anybody who wants to thrive in their career and look after their well-being. So let your friends know, let your family know, and let's get the reach of this podcast even further. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Tazmin, for having me. I appreciate.
Looking to create awareness, build visibility, and enhance growth for your business, organization, or yourself? Introducing Clear Narrative Media, a purpose-led media and marketing agency that transforms how founders, creatives, and organizations share their stories online. Dedicated to assisting you with all your marketing, content, and strategy needs. You can find them on all social media platforms and online at cnmediaa.com or follow the link in the show notes. What if you could take control of your career growth on your own terms? Well, that's exactly what RankSuite is here for. RankSuite is more than just SEO. It's a complete digital marketing training platform. With courses covering technical SEO, content, and analytics, they give you the tools to grow your skills at your own pace. There's no shortcuts, no gimmicks, just real sustainable strategies taught by industry experts who live and breathe this stuff every day. Plus, it's packed with worksheets and challenges to make sure what you learn sticks. Are you ready to take the next step? Start your journey with RankSuite today by clicking the link in the show notes. Use the code SEO Mindset at checkout to get a 30% discount and an extended 21-day free trial. The Be Digital UK community is a space for Black marketeers globally to meet, learn and elevate their career. With group chats, social events, workshops, panels and a community board for jobs and opportunities, it's unapologetic in its mission to platform and support Black voices in marketing. With hundreds of members in the UK, North America and Nigeria, the community comes together to teach, share opportunities and cheer each other on in their careers. No matter your background, whether you are a student, C-suite or somewhere in between. If you want to support or share the news, check the show notes to follow their socials. If you're a Black marketeer, then drop them an Instagram DM or email and join the amazing community.